Good morning. Good morning, good morning. It is a terrible day today. It is windy, it is rainy, it is cold. It's gray. It looks terrible. Good morning, Helen. Good morning, Meg. Someone else is on too, but it's gone away and I can't see who it is anymore. So good morning to you as well. Right, so this morning, I've chosen these colors. I've had a couple people say, why don't you tell us the color number? Some of the threads that I've gotten are from charity shops, so they do have color numbers on them, but they don't always line up to the DMC color numbers. So when I go and do my patterns, I'll choose the colors that I want, some from the charity shops, some from DMC, some from Anchor. As you know, I normally put them on the clothespins. So if I'm good, I'll write the number. The clothespins look like this. If I'm good, I'll write the number on it. Sometimes I just throw the little paper thing away. Sometimes I have a bunch of little paper things over here because I haven't thrown them away yet. So yeah, that's why I haven't given the color numbers. So if you want them, these are the colors that I'm using today, but I can't guarantee that they'll match up. So I'm sorry. So like I said, when I do the patterns, normally I go and do the whole thing, save all the colors I use, then go to Hobbycraft, and then lay them all out, and then match them up one by one, take a picture, and then put all the threads back. So I got one of those color number charts, but the one that I got is just a picture, and they also don't line up very well. Like the colors are just a bit darker in there, so I need to get the one with the thread on it, I'll just show you because it's right here. So I got one of these, yeah? Because people were like, oh, just get a chart. And I was like, oh, that's brilliant. So when I was in America, they had them at Hobby Lobby. And inside is a picture of all the different colors. Nope. Here. Yeah? But the color is just a little bit darker than it is in real life because it's just a picture. I want the one that's got thread on it. So I know from the DMC website, you can get the one that's an actual thread sample one. That's the one you want. So until I get that, this is the best bet. So what we're doing today are these three little things. So I know we practiced satin stitch with 3 strands yesterday. Today's going to be all 6 strands, and then we're going to do a little outline, again, optional, with a lighter color of the same. So I kind of chose like same tones. They have a bit of a bluish tint to them. More blue than yellow, if you know what I mean. And yeah, so you can leave them just straight satin stitch, or you can add some outlines. But we're going to do with all 6 strands this time. So you can see how the different strands give a different kind of effect. So I know on your pattern, we have other leaves that look like this as well, yeah? And they're up here. Do not do those. We're doing something different with those. This here is all that you need. So let me zoom her in and we'll get ready. I've already kind of prepped it by doing the blue lines horizontally. And then I've just outlined it with the purple so you can see the outline of the lines. We're going to start over here. And if you notice, a lot of these things are overlapping. So like this is kind of underneath this one, and this one's kind of tucked into this one, and then this one is under this one. So we need to do some of the things underneath first so we can stitch on top of this leaf with this one to make it look like they're really kind of together. So for this leaf here, we're going to do all 6 strands satin stitch, keep them nice and parallel, like that. What is that? Oh, it's just Jessie. I'm expecting 2 deliveries today because Jessie is out of food, and we had to order the special food for her, and was meant to come on Saturday, and it didn't come, so we've had to go out and buy different food from the vet again, and now it's meant to come today. So if I move away because of the delivery, I'm sorry. So, right, this one, we're gonna go all the way almost to this right here. So this is the middle of the next leaf. That's going to be on top of this one. But we want this one to be nice and in there. So we're going to go all the way to this line. All the way to this line here. Yeah? So let's go. My Rose 2000 says, I'm in class, but I'll be stitching along in the evening. That's exciting. Hello, Tash. I missed you. She is visiting her parents, so she hasn't been on very much. Well, or her mom and her sister, I should say. I missed you. How is everything? I know, I really wanted to message you, but then I was like, you're on holiday and you're visiting your family, so just leave it. You can talk to her when you get back, or when she gets back, I mean. Man, I am hi George, scatterbrained today. Am I allowed to say where you are, Tash, or should I keep it secret? She says, I'm so good, but it's so warm here, and I'm dreading coming back to the cold. So she's somewhere where it's really warm. Really warm. So notice with these, I'm just doing straight long lines from the tip all the way to the bottom. I'm not, I know sometimes in the flowers that I teach you how to make them kind of like a pizza, like a pie, you know, how they're all tucked in. We're not doing that, just straight long lines, all 6 strands. Tash says, yep, you can say. She's in Australia. Ah! So fun, right? So we're doing this one first because this one's going to kind of overlap that one, and then this one's going to overlap that one. So our stitches won't actually overlap, but we just have to be a little bit careful with the outline. Hi, Carrie. Good morning. Okay, so there's that one done. And we'll just move right along to this one. I can tell this is not as tight as it should be. Can you guys hear the Christmas music in the background? She says, I hope you're safe with all the fires going on in Australia. And I think Carrie is from Australia, if I remember correctly. And she says, good night here. So I think that you missed it. But Carrie, my friend Tash from Hatchling Makes, she's in Australia as well at the moment, visiting some of her family. And her sister got married. So you both are there. She says that Carrie says the fires are crazy, but thankfully we are safe. Oh, that's so good. She's in Sydney. And that's where Tash is. Aren't you in Sydney as well, babe? So just back to stitching for just a minute. Oh, Jesse's down there where my feet are. I'm sure that you've noticed, but we're just going down the middle, and then I like to fill in each side so that they can make sure that they're nice and parallel to each other. If they're not, it's not a big deal. But this is just to practice your stitches. Yeah, she is flying home soon. Carrie says, I love your satin stitch, Tori. Thank you. Some people really, not that they don't like my satin stitch, but they just don't like satin stitch, period. So like, it doesn't matter how good it looks and how perfect that you've made it or anything like that. They're like, nope, hate it. Not even gonna try. But the fact of the matter is, it is really useful. It is a really useful stitch. And actually, I have satin stitch for 4 of the days of this. So I might change a couple other ones because I don't want to get you guys hating satin stitch as well. But it's so good to practice because it's such a versatile stitch. Tash says, satin stitch is awesome. Carrie says, it's hard. It is. But once you know, you know. Like, once you've got it. Oh, Carrie says that's part of the reason why I stopped the February stitch along. Meg says, when it goes right, I love it. If it doesn't, I don't. So yeah, a lot of, maybe I'll do like a question in my, like a question in my stories later, you know, those question boxes. Maybe I'll do one of them, like best satin stitch tips or something. And then maybe we can like not crowd fund, but what's that called? You know, get them all together in one place. Meg says, when it goes right, I love it. If it doesn't, I don't. Hatchling Tash says, when you figure it out, it feels so good to do satin stitch. It really does. And Carrie says, I love French knots. See, maybe I'll do like, what's your favorite stitch as well? And I'll do like a poll one, and that way we can like see how many people like love which ones. And I've totally run out of thread. Isn't that fantastic? So you can see I'm not really doing the thread saver method that much. So this is the beginning. I was just using it all willy-nilly, and then at the very end, I've started thread saving. Tasha's got to dash, Tori, but chat to you soon. I cannot wait, and have a safe flight if I don't talk to you before you leave. Message me when you land. Ooh. Flip around. I'm just going to get a little bit more to finish this. Mrs. Vera. Is it Vera? Is that your name? I want to make sure I get it right. She says, I think I'm okay with the short satin stitch, but I struggle with the long ones. Yeah, the lines on there really, really help because it's really easy to make them not parallel, especially when they're big areas. Okay, so we're gonna go all the way up to this line here. And really, like, it's just kind of like a not like a safety crutcher, but it's just like a little aid in helping you, you know? You don't have to do it, but sometimes, especially if the stitch direction really matters, then Vika? You can say Vika, V-I-K-A. She says, I've not gotten around to change my username. That's okay. And I think I can do one more here. I just never want to call someone the wrong name. So like even if I'm not sure or if I can't remember, or like if you've done the February stitch along but like not any other ones. When I was an art teacher, I would teach the whole school art. So everybody in the building who's a child, I would teach them and I'd have to know all of their names. And so normally I'm okay with names, like remembering them. But then with Instagram, you have to remember a lot of times their username and their name. So it's like double. It's like double trouble. Right, so if you want to stop there, you can stop there. That's totally fine. This is how it would look. I'm going to add a little outline, just a very simple backstitch outline. Maybe a stem stitch outline. That would look better. A stem stitch outline. I'm going to use 3 strands. Carrie said, I made mine easy for you, LOL. Yes. Perfect. And Meg. Meg's is just Meg as well. That's why sometimes on Etsy when people buy things, their usernames will be just like numbers and letters, like V, 5, 7, blah, blah, blah. And they'll say, hey, is this available or something? And I want to say like, hi, like with their name, but it's not their name. Or they'll say, I've got this order, but they've not used their name. They've like done a guest checkout or something. Right, so if you want to stop here, like I said before, go ahead and stop here. I've got the light on. I don't know why this is so dark. That's better. Boho Bag Lady, hello. So with the stem stitch, you can start any way that you want to. I know in the drawing, I've got just a line down the middle. You can do that if you want. You can just outline it if you want. This is where you get to kind of choose your own adventure, if you know what I mean. Whatever you feel like doing, do. You can always do the minimum now, and then on catch-up day, you can do a little bit more or take it out and change it. It's up to you. I know yesterday I was like playing with the idea of a catch-up day, and in the art room I did this sometimes too. And it's just a day where you get to catch up on all the things that you didn't finish. So I'll be doing the lettering, and I've got one more holly leaf up here to do as well. So catch-up days are great because there's no pressure to come and chat. It's going to be Thursday in the evening. I'll give you the exact same time, closer to the day. So we won't have a 10 o'clock stitch along on Thursday. It's going to be at nighttime. So mark it down in your diaries. Jessica says, I just spent a couple hours catching up from last week. That's all right. So with the stem stitch, I like to put, this will all make sense in a minute. I like to put the loop on the outside of the hump. So if you notice that the leaf is going this way, the line has a hump that goes up, the loop is going to go on top of that. So if I were doing down here, I would put the hump this way, okay? Does that make sense? So we're gonna get started. So the stem stitch is kind of just like a brick stitch, but like all smashed together and overlapping. So you're gonna leave your loop like that. Let me make it so you can actually see it. Make your stitch like that, but don't pull it down all the way. And then come up between those 2 stitches right in the middle and pull it up. That's 1. So we're going to do the exact same thing again. So the length of this first stitch here is going to be the length of the second stitch from here to here. Keep it up, and then you're going to go down where you first came up the first time, or first went down for the first stitch, if that makes a better sense. Yeah? and then pull it up. And we just continue that the whole way around till you get to the tip. So this is where having a hoop stand is actually helpful because I'm using both my hands. If you notice, if I zoom out, if I don't give you a seizure, I use my other finger to hold it up there. And go around. You definitely could have swapped these two colors if you wanted to have a darker outline and a lighter inside. Jessica says, tomorrow I'll start working on the leaves. That's perfect. Tomorrow we are not doing satin stitch, so all of you people who hate it can have a bit of a break. So once you get to the very tip, yeah, so I've just got a half a stitch left really because I've got this filled to the end and then this right here is coming out in the middle of this one, yeah? You're just gonna go straight down. So obviously when we started, we went up at the tip, but we can't go up at the tip this time because we've gone down there. So you're just gonna make your first stitch a little bit backwards. You're gonna come here and go down at the tip, come up in the middle of the two, just like we did before, and pull up. So notice that now, Jessie, she's never gotten in the garbage, but she always comes and checks the garbage. Like, oh, I wonder what's in there. Bye, Carrie. Have a good evening. Meg says, I'm going to ask for a hoop stand for Christmas. Oh, that's such a good Christmas present. I went through a knot back there, I can tell. Helen says, I don't mind the satin stitches, but it takes me ages. Yep. But they do look really nice. Like you can't argue that they don't look nice when they're done, you know? Okay, so instead of doing this upside down like this, so pulling it down, normally I would just turn the whole hoop around because obviously it's easier to do it with the loops facing up, you know? It's just quicker. And this makes kind of like a rope kind of twisted effect without having, like with the whipped back stitch, you have to do all the stitches and then go back and whip them. So it's like you're doing it 2 times, which is why we had a whole day for whipping them. Maybe if I, can you tell it's kind of like a braided rope kind of look? So after you've done the outlines, come on. Meg, if you're still on, I'm gonna send you those November and December things as well today. Thank goodness. Jessica did the laughing, crying face, and then she says, whoops, that was a total accident. So there you go. So there's one. If you're still okay to do it, that is, Meg. Obviously, on Friday we went away, and then yesterday was just absolute nuts. Oh, actually, I need to undo that. Because if you want to, you can do a line down the middle. like it is in the drawing. So, yeah, so Helen remembered. So if you want to, you can do a line down the middle. This is what it would look like if you want to do that. And I think I'm going to. And that's just one straight stitch right down the middle. So I'm going to actually go to from this tip all the way down to there because I want to start again here. And I'm just tucking it in underneath those corner stitches of the stem stitch. Yeah? So I went up in the corner and then down in this corner inside the outline. Just like that. She says, I pressed post just as you said it. Sometimes I get too into talking. Oh, done it again. Too into talking, and then yeah, yesterday was just crazy. I felt like I made 9 kits yesterday that I need to send out. And there's 2 more joy kits in the shop right now. If anybody wants them, they're going to be the last 2, I think. But I made 9 of the kits, and then I realized that we were out of paper, so I couldn't print any of the like paper materials, like telling where to find the link or like the little intro or even a thank you postcard. I couldn't do that. Then as I went to go print it on just regular paper, I ran out of printer toner, so I couldn't print anything. And I was like, oh, this is crazy. I ran out of the Pilot Frixion pens. I had to order those. I just ran out of everything. Yesterday was just, I felt like I was just running around. Helen, it's 3 strands for the outline. Just running around all day, just going, I'm out of that. I'm out of that. Okay, can't do that. Let's try something else. All right, can't do that. Let's try something else. Yeah, so it's 6 strands for the middle and then 3 strands for the outline because we don't want it to have a really thick, chunky outline. We just want it to look outlined, you know, just a nice, thin little outline. And you can totally tell between the holly leaf that we did yesterday and these 3 leaves today, that the 6 strands is a little bit chunkier, it's a little bit fuller. I feel like I'm doing this backwards. So really, it's just your preference, whatever you do, whatever you would like to do, I mean. I know some people say that that's like the hardest part is to choose how many strands because you don't know. But the more that you do it, the more you kind of realize, I want it to be, you know, a little bit thicker, or I need it to have a little bit more texture, or I want it to be really nice and smooth. I'm just putting the line down the middle. And a good way to do this is to go up at the tip and then kind of move your line around like this and see how you want it to look. I want mine to be literally down the middle. So I'm going to hold it here and then just tuck it in right behind it. And that's a good way to kind of see where. Don't forget that this right here is going to be covered up. This is not the edge of your leaf, yeah? The edge is up here. So we're going to go from here around. And actually, we're not even going to see that part really because that's going to be gone as well. So I'm just going to go, I'll do it anyways, just in case. So don't outline the whole leaf starting here, because this right here is going to be gone. Yeah? So actually the leaf is just peeking out from this behind like that. So you're just going to do this, just this, ow. Just stab myself underneath my fingernail. Underneath this like that. Meg says, I tend to always go for 3 strands. I think the smaller the hoop, 100% the less strands. So like this right here was a 7-inch hoop. I did 3 strands on the letters. But if it was an 8, I would still do 3 strands. But if it was a 10 or a 12-inch hoop, I would definitely do all 6 strands for this, because the bigger the hoop, the bigger the letters. So you kind of have to work it out based on what you do. If you had a smaller hoop, like a 6-inch hoop or even a 5-inch hoop, I don't think I would do this design on that small of a hoop, but a 5-inch hoop, I mean. But it's up to you. You definitely have to do less strands for all of this. And I'm actually going to tie a knot on this because I'm not going to make it. Get out of there. Come on. We're almost finished. Honestly, I just do too much talking, especially in the beginning. Sorry. But yeah, it's just these 3 today. So probably should have just showed you 1 full leaf and then let you get on with it. Too late now, isn't it? So yeah, the smaller the stitches, the more twisted it's gonna look. The longer the stitches, the less twisted it's gonna look. So it's up to you how you want it to be. Helen says, I enjoy the chat. That's kind. Okay, and then because I've just gone down at the tip, I'm going to come up here and do it that way, which is going to be a little bit more difficult. But you just use your trusty guess. Probably could have gone even deeper with that, actually. Where is it? Which one is it? What? There we go. Was that the exact same place I put it before? Oh well, it's just gonna have to be that now. Because that's me finished. So there we go. That's what we've done today. Be sure to tag me in your stories. Make sure that you actually do at the Barmy Fox. Otherwise, I cannot see it. And it should have like either a line underneath of it, or if you swipe up and do at mention, then it should kind of be illuminated. You know what I mean? So if anyone needs help with that, I'm always happy to help. If you're having trouble with the stitching, message me. I'm always happy to help. I'll be around most of today. I have to kind of do all the things I was meant to do yesterday when I didn't have any of the things to do all the things I had to do yesterday. So yeah. Come on. That's what we've got so far. I still have to do that one. And yeah, I will see you tomorrow.